Beyond Two Souls is an interactive drama action-adventure video game for the PlayStation 3 console developed by French developer Quantic Dream. It stars Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe and was released on October 8th, 2013 in North America. The game is told in a non-linear narrative, skipping back and forth between 3 points in the main character's life. The summary I'm about to tell you is the story told in chronological order. 8-year-old Jodie Holmes lives on a military base with her foster parents, Philip and Susan. Since birth, Jodie has had a strange psychic connection with a mysterious entity named Aiden, through whom she can perform many strange and often frightening telepathic acts, such as possessing people's minds, strangling them to death, and manipulating certain objects. After an incident with some neighborhood kids, which results in Aiden almost killing them, Jodie's parents seek psychiatric help for her condition. This eventually leads them to doctors Nathan Dawkins and Cole Freeman of the Department of Paranormal Activity, with whom they leave her indefinitely, and possibly permanently, as Aiden almost kills the less than sympathetic Philip as they're leaving. I might say Aiden and Aiden because in the game she says Aiden sometimes, so... Under the two doctors' care, Jodie slowly learns to control Aiden and the powers they share. During this time, Nathan learns that his wife and daughter were killed in a car accident, which leaves him depressed. In trying to comfort him, Jodie discovers that she can channel spirits of the dead to help them talk to the living through a psychic link caused by physical contact with the living. Being able to talk to his family brings Nathan comfort. As the years pass, Jodie seeks her independence, both from the doctors and from Aiden, and tries several times to live a normal life. Each attempt ends in a disaster and results in her having to be saved by Aiden. At one point, Nathan is informed by his superiors that their condenser, a portal which connects the world of the living with the world of the dead, called the Infraworld, is going haywire, and they ask for Jodie's help. After braving many hostile entities, Jodie manages to shut the condenser down and warns Nathan not to let them build another. This gets the attention of the CIA, who send Agent Ryan Clayton to recruit Jodie. Though she says no at first, she isn't given a choice and reluctantly goes with them. After weeks of training, she passes and is made an agent. She goes on multiple missions, often with Ryan, who she slowly becomes attracted to. Unfortunately, an attempt at a relationship is prevented by the jealous Aiden, who Jodie becomes very angry toward. Eventually, Jodie is sent to an African country to assassinate a warlord. With the help of Aiden and a young boy named Salim, she succeeds. One of the casualties of the attack is revealed to be Salim's father, turning him on her just as she is picked up by Ryan. On a plane back to the base, Jodie is enraged to hear the news that the man she killed wasn't a warlord, but the country's benign president. Despite Ryan's pleas, she flees in disgust. Branded a traitor, she flees across the country from CIA forces, whom she has to fight many times. Along the way, she befriends a couple of homeless people, one of whom she helps give birth, and a family of Native Americans, whom she saves from a malevolent entity. Eventually, she contacts Cole, who she asks to find her real mother. He manages to find her mother, Nora Gray, in a mental hospital where she's been catatonic since Jodie's birth. Upon linking with her, Jodie learns that Nora had a similar link to an entity which the CIA feared made her a danger to both herself and Jodie. So after she had her, she was injected with a serum that left her like this. Upset by this, Jodie reluctantly has Aiden euthanize Nora. To make matters worse, she is promptly captured by the CIA right after. The CIA hands Jodie over to Nathan, who is now the executive director of the DPA. He reveals to Jodie that the CIA is willing to let her go and live her life if they do them one last favor. After a briefing, it is revealed that the Chinese military facility is planning to unleash the Infraworld against the United States by building their own condenser. Desperate to keep the condenser technology exclusive to the CIA and its allies, the CIA sends Jodie to destroy the condenser. Ryan and her old colleagues at the CIA are sent in as her support team, where tensions are still present. Trekking across heavily snowing fields, the team manages to follow a convoy to the facility where Jody and Ryan, disguised in the uniforms of 2 deceased soldiers, take a pilfered submarine to the base only to be captured. To make matters worse, Aiden is separated from Jody by a containment field meant to keep entities away from the living. Luckily, he manages to deactivate the containment field, unleashing the other entities on the soldiers, and frees Jody and Ryan, the latter of whom having had one of his eyes destroyed during his questioning. Jody destroys the condenser, and they make their escape. Back at the CIA, Jody is seemingly let go and given a new identity. However, before she leaves, Nathan reveals a miniaturized condenser he built to speak exclusively to his family. Unfortunately, when he and Jody perform the psychic link, she realizes that his actions are making them suffer and leaves him to consider this. When she tries to leave, however, she's recaptured by the CIA. CIA head General McGrath informs her that she's been deemed too dangerous and they're going to do to her what they did to her mother. To make matters worse, Nathan soon appears and informs Jody that he's decided to shut down the containment field to the DPA's newest condenser, merging the two worlds together and making death meaningless. Too weak to free Jody, Aiden contacts Ryan and Cole and leads them to her. After Nathan succeeds in shutting down the containment field, the three chase after him into the heart of the condenser, codenamed the Black Sun, with the intent of destroying it. During the trek towards the Black Sun, Cole is injured by entities, and Ryan sacrifices his own safety to keep Jody going. Eventually, she confronts Nathan near the Black Sun, where, depending on the player's choice, she either talks sense into him, causing him to commit suicide, or, failing that, has Aiden kill him. Either way, Nathan reunites with his family and points Jody forward. As Jody shuts down the control to the condenser, she has a series of visions which makes her realize who Aiden is, her twin brother who was stillborn. Turning off the machine, Jody ends up in a corridor where she and the player have a choice: to go back to the world of the living or to go on to the infraworld. If the player chooses to return, Jody, Cole, and Ryan all survive the explosion of the condenser, but she loses the psychic connection with Aiden. Finally, left alone, Jody's memories of the past slowly become scrambled, and she decides to start a whole new life. At this point, the player chooses whether Jody's new life is alone, with her homeless friends who are no longer homeless, with the Native Americans, or with Ryan. Choosing one of the latter two reveals that Aiden is still floating around, while choosing one of the former two ends with a vision of her facing a possible post-apocalyptic future, either alone or with Zoe, the baby she delivered. Choosing to move on results in Ryan and Cole surviving only to discover Jody's corpse. Jody keeps watch over her living loved ones while having a psychic connection with Zoe, whom she prepares to face the possible post-apocalyptic future alone.